We now turn to a hadith in Sahih Bukhari. In which Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam said, and it is a very short hadith, you can memorize it before you leave the masjid tonight. Kayfa antum? How will you be at that time? Oh, what a wonderful time that would be. إِذَا نَزَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ نُ مَرْيَمَ, when the son of Mary will descend amongst you. Oh, so he's not descending in Rome. Oh no. When the son of Mary descends amongst you, whether they like it or whether they don't, when Jesus comes back, he's coming to us. He's descending amongst Muslims. كيف أنتم إذا نزل عليكم ابن مريم وإمامكم منكم. And at that time, your Imam would be from within your own ranks. He would be a Muslim. And so there is an Imam in the end time. And the advent of that Imam, I'm going to use another big word now. First one was eschatology. The advent of that Imam will be contemporaneous. Long word, huh? Contemporaneous, meaning at the same time with the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. The advent of that Imam would be at the same time with the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. But he would have to come before. And then after he has come, then Nabi Isa alayhi salam will come. Who is that Imam who will emerge in the end time? And who is an Imam? And what will be the implications of the emergence of an Imam at that time? These are fascinating questions. We have to simply leave Sahih Bukhari and go to Sahih Muslim, and we get the answer that Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam prophesied that Imam would be known as Imam Mahdi, the rightly guided Imam. And we also are told that he is going to be from the seed of Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, from his daughter Fatima radiyallahu ta'ala anha. So he's going to be an Arab. I don't think he can be an Indonesian. Huh? Or Malaysian. He has to be an Arab, eh? Okay. This Imam who will emerge at the time when Nabi Isa alayhi salam is to return is not only from the seed of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, but we also have a description of his physical features, a broad forehead and a large nose and so on. And we also know something about his functions. That at that time the world will be filled with oppression. Well, it has already come. Modern Western civilization has now been hijacked to deliver to the world more oppression than mankind has ever witnessed. And yet there are those who have eyes and yet cannot see. And their Qibla is in Washington. and they long to get a green card and a US passport. So I say, please go and don't come back. Please go and don't come back. You don't belong to us. You belong to the Jamaat of the oppressors. At that time there will be oppression in the world, all over the world. And this man, will break those chains of oppression and bring justice to the world. So this is going to be a revolutionary change to transform a world filled with oppression to a world of justice and of peace. And then the world will experience what Islam has to offer. This would be an Imam who would come at a time of great poverty and destitution in the world. Well, it has already come. All those who stand up to Dajjal are today miserably poor. And all those who are faithfully following Dajjal are living in the comfort zone. That's what the Prophet prophesied. But when the Imam comes, he's going to share wealth to the people. Would it be US dollars? The last thing I heard about the US dollar was that it was in ICU in some hospital. Would it be the French francs or the Malaysian ringgit? Come on, wake up and stop this nonsense. Stop this nonsense. If you did not know it before, maybe tonight you should start to learn. That knowledge may enter into your head. The money that we are now using has come from Dajjal. If you've not studied international monetary economics, come to me and I'll teach it to you. The money that we are now using has come from Dajjal. The paper currencies have come from Dajjal. The electronic money which is taking over from the paper currencies have come from Dajjal. And they're functioning as an instrument, not only for the unjust transfer of wealth from the unsuspecting masses to a global predatory elite, but more than that. They're bringing a system of slavery upon the world, enslaving mankind. And Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam prophesied that in the end time there will be slavery. He said a slave woman, you remember? Don't you? He said a slave woman will give birth to her mistress. We have a conference in PWTC on Tuesday and Wednesday. If you can take 2 days off, leave, come join us. There's a flyer outside about the conference. It is on the prohibition of riba in Islam. Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam told us that Imam is going to share wealth. Which kind of money? Oh, you know it. I don't have to tell you. It's the money which is in the Quran. When last did you open the Quran and look in the Quran to see whether there's money in the Quran? Huh? Is the dinar in the Quran? Yes, it is. Is the dirham in the Quran? Yes, it is. That's bad news for some of you who have neglected the Quran. And so he's going to share dinar and dirham, money that Allah ordained to be used as money. And if we had been using that money, Indonesia would not be miserably poor today. And Egypt would not be miserably poor today. And Bangladesh and Pakistan and Afghanistan would not be miserably poor today. And Africa would not be miserably poor today. He will share that money to such an extent that no one would be willing to accept zakat. What a world that is going to be tomorrow. This Imam is called Imam, but the word Imam here is synonymous with Amir or leader. So he is not only Imam Mahdi, he is Amirul Mu'mineen, the leader of the believers. So would he be the head of the Egyptian Muslims alone? And you have another one for the Malay? Another one for the Indonesians? Or is he going to be the leader of all Muslims? Come on, answer me today. Answer me today. You know, he prophesied about the end time, that knowledge will disappear. Knowledge will disappear. And here's the evidence. That when that Imam comes, he is going to be Amirul Mu'mineen. So then what are you going to do with your Egyptian citizenship and your Egyptian passport? I don't want to go further than that. What are you going to do with your constitution of Egypt and your Syrian constitution, your pledge of loyalty to this state? What are you going to do? I know what we are going to do. We never gave up in our heart. We never gave up in our hearts loyalty to the Imam and to the Amir. No, we never gave it up, because we never accepted the substitute. And we will never accept the substitute. He's also known not only as Imam, not only as Amirul Mu'mineen, but also as Khalifa. Khalifa. And this brings us to our difference of opinion with the Shia. We hold the view that the Shia are Muslims. Oh yes. And we gave evidence to support that. There is no fatwa which has achieved ijma'. No. Because the Shia have performed the Hajj continuously to this day. No one has stopped them. And so the ijma' of the ummah is that the Shia are Muslims. And if they are Muslims, then you have to relate to them as brothers. Ruhama'u baynahum. And if you differ with them, you must differ in a way which is constructive and not destructive. We say that the first Amir, the first Imam, the first Khalifa was Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And then after him was Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And after him was Uthman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And after him was Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And we have said, and we have not spoken with hostility and bitterness and enmity. We have spoken with sadness in our hearts. That if you declare of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu that he was a usurper who stole somebody else's position, we say that you are misguided. If you're annoyed with us, what can we do? But facts are facts. And we say that if you say that Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was also a usurper, we say that's double misguidance. And if you compound that by saying that Uthman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu was also misguided, we say, come on, it's time to wake up from your sleep. And we're not speaking these words with bitterness. and with anger and with hostility. We're speaking these words with sadness. And it's because we call them the khulafa that we say that the Imam who is to come will also be Khalifa. What is the implication now of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sending to us a Khalifa and saying to him that he will be from within your own ranks? كيف أنتم إذا نزل عليكم مريم وإمامكم منكم, and your Imam will now be from within your own ranks. Very clearly to me, this hadith is anticipating a time will come when we will no longer have khilafah. No. That we will be ruled by those who are not Muslims. There is no authentic Islamic rule anywhere in the world today, because those who rule us are not Muslims. Where's the evidence? When last did you take up the Charter of the United Nations Organization? And if you are in Iran and you listen to this lecture, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Take up the Charter of the United Nations Organization and open it and read, I believe it is 24 and 25, where the Charter of the United Nations says, in effect, that in all matters pertaining to international peace and security, Allah is not Al-Akbar. No. The Security Council of the United Nations is Al-Akbar, meaning there is no authority above it. That is shirk. And so once you are a member of the United Nations Organization, your Amir al-Mu'mineen, your Khalifa, your leader, your ruler, ultimate ruler is the Security Council of the United Nations. And so you can call yourself an Islamic Republic, like Pakistan used to do before it became an American Republic. And I don't say this to ridicule the Pakistani people, because I studied in Pakistan and my heart beats with the people of Pakistan who are imprisoned in Pakistan because they don't have the freedom to choose their own leader. Their leader is chosen in Washington by the Zionists. And so a time is going to come when we will be ruled by those who are not from within our own ranks. So you had Amir al-Mu'mineen George Bush. But that's not going to last forever. No. When Imam al-Mahdi comes, that's goodbye to the substitute that they gave us for the Khilafah. Dajjal gave us the modern secular state. And the modern secular state has replaced the Khilafah. And all of mankind, illa masha'Allah, have pledged their allegiance to the modern secular state, loyal to the modern secular state and to its constitution. And as a consequence have said goodbye to Allah and to the Khilafah. But you and I have not done that. In our hearts we are faithful to Allah and to His Messenger. And in our hearts we are faithful to Islam's model of a political state, the Khilafah. And in our hearts we long for that day when the Imam will emerge and the Khilafah will be restored. Is it possible for the Khilafah to be restored before the Imam emerges. There is a hadith in Sahih Muslim that a Khalifa will die and there will be disagreement concerning succession. I think you already guessed who it's going to be. There will be disagreement concerning succession. And then a man will emerge out of Medina. Remember Medina, not Jakarta, Medina. And he will hurry to Mecca. And the people of Mecca will come out to him and urge him and try to force him to accept the bay'ah. No, we have problem here. We have heard this word for years and years and years and years. The word bay'ah has been put in something called the cold storage. So we got to go to the cold storage now and pull it out. What is this bay'ah? It is the pledge of allegiance which legitimizes the rule of the Khalifa. That is bay'ah, and it is an institution that is located in the Quran and in the Sunnah of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. When he accepts the bay'ah, at that time he will confirm and proclaim himself to be Imam Mahdi. Now then, I made this comment, and I did not make this comment in any disrespectful way. No. I was merely speaking facts. And if Imran is not allowed to speak facts, what should he talk about? I said that Mecca has never been a Shia city. Is that true or is that false? Tell me. I never said that there are no Shia in Saudi Arabia, and now you come to hit me with a left uppercut for something I never said. Please have some respect for your own intellect and don't quote people wrongly. What I said is that Mecca has never been a Shia city. Is that true or is that false? There is nothing to suggest to us that that situation will change in the future and that Mecca will transform itself and become a Shia city. There is no evidence to support that. And therefore we ask, how can a people of Mecca who are not Shia, how can they go out and pledge allegiance to a Shia? If you have an answer, I'd be happy to get the answer. You can send me an email. And I am not wearing any boxing gloves. No, this is not the age for that. This is a reasoned discourse that is being presented tonight. And so I conclude that the Imam cannot be Shia. This is my conclusion. If you differ with me, that does not mean that we should have boxing gloves fighting each other. No. Now then, the argument is raised that because the Prophet ﷺ used the word Khalifa, a Khalifa will die. The implication is that the Khilafah will be restored before the advent of Imam al-Mahdi. But have you forgotten that hadith with which we began? كيف أنتم إذا نزل عليكم ابن مريم وإمامكم منكم why should the Prophet ﷺ say to us that this Imam will be from your own ranks when we already have the Khilafah? It has already been restored and our Imams are already from our own ranks. Why should he say that? My understanding is that the hadith is clear that prior to the advent of Imam Mahdi, it is not possible to restore the Khilafah. No. And therefore, when the word Khalifa is used, a Khalifa will die. The Prophet ﷺ is referring to a Muslim ruler. Who could it be? Oh, the answer is clear. It has to be a Saudi king. Because there are 5,000 princes out there waiting, struggling, fighting to take over. And there's already sufficient evidence of internal conflicts and rivalries within the big Saudi clan. So, a Saudi king will die. It can't be Fahad because he's already dead. Would it be Abdullah? I don't think so. And I'll let you know why in a moment. When that Saudi king dies and there is disagreement concerning succession, it is at that time that Allah will send the Imam. Is the Imam born already? This is not arrogance on my part. No. When I say, I don't know and I don't want to know. So please don't send me emails asking me whether the Imam has been born already. What is important is that Allah places a cover and Allah conceals him. And no one knows that he is the Imam until that moment arrives. When the king, the Khalifa dies and there is disagreement and so on, then he proclaims himself to be the Imam. Until that moment, we don't know who is the Imam. So is he born already? No, come on. I don't know and I don't want to know. Population is expanding dramatically. How can little Israel rule a big world like this? Not possible. Either Israel has to expand and become big like the United States to rule the world, which is not possible. Why? Because Israel is located in a sea of Islam. All around is Muslims. Or the second possibility is that the world has to become smaller. Which one will it be? Will Israel expand and become so big, or will the world contract and become smaller? What does the Quran have to say? The verse is in Surah Al-Isra, Surah number 17 of the Quran. And listen to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to say. This is Ilmu Akhirul Zaman, or the study of the end time. وَإِمْ بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ وَإِمْ مِنْ قَرْيَةٍ إِلَّا نَحْنُ مُهْلِكُوهَا قَبْلَ يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ أَوْ مُعَذِّبُوهَا عَذَابًا شَدِيدًا كَانَ ذَلِكَ فِي الْكِتَابِ مَسْطُورًا. And there is not a single town or city that will escape, but we will destroy them all. This is the Quran. This is not Hadith. This is Quran. There is not a single town or city that will escape, but we will destroy them all before Qiyamah. And those which escape destruction will be punished with severe punishment. And this is something inscribed in the book. This verse of the Quran is warning us of great destruction that is to come to the world. There are other verses of the Quran, but we don't have the time to turn to them on the Malhama. And then there are the ahadith which speak very specifically, like that one which says that 99 out of every 100 would be killed. We are now located at that moment in time when a day which is like a month is coming to an end, and a day which is like a week is about to begin. If we go back now to that moment when Pax Britannica was giving way to Pax Americana, there were big wars in the world. They call it the First World War. They call it the Second World War. That's the name they have for it. For me, they were European wars, not world wars. But these were wars in which the world experienced destruction like never before in history. I was born when the Second World War was taking place. Yeah. Millions and millions of people were killed, particularly Europeans, in those world wars. So in order for Israel to replace the United States of America as the ruling state in the world, you don't need a PhD to know that not only does Israel have to take over for the US dollar, and new money has to come that Israel will control, but also there will be great wars. Who will the wars be fought against? There are two forces in the world, two, which stand up to resist Israel. Who are they? Number one, the followers of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Those whose Qibla are in Mecca, because, forgive me for saying so, don't be annoyed with me, we have people whose Qibla in Washington. Forgive me for saying so, don't be annoyed with me for saying so. There are people who prefer to hold on to the US visa than to be faithful to Islam. My US visa is more important to me than being faithful to Allah and His Messenger. Forgive me, please forgive me, but I have a job to do. The big war which is coming will attack Muslims because they are the ones who are standing up to Israel, and another people are standing up to Israel. Who are the other people? The answer is to be found in Surah Al-Ma'idah, and this is the most important ayah I'm quoting today. So listen carefully. Surah Al-Ma'idah, which is the 5th surah of the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns of a time which is to come, in which He says, لَتَجِدَنَّ, you will most certainly find in time to come, أَشَدَّ النَّاسِ عَدَاوَةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الْيَهُودِ, that the Jews will become the people with the greatest hatred and hostility and enmity for you. That time will come. وَالَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا, that in addition to the Jews there will be another people who will display the same hatred and enmity and hostility for you. And they will be a people whose total agenda is shirk. Everything connected with them is shirk. Example? Shall I give you the example? You don't mind? Well, Allah speaks in the Quran about Yawmul Jum'ah. Yawmul Jum'ah. إِذَا نُودِيَ لِلصَّلَاةِ مِنْ يَوْمِ الْجُمْعَةِ فَاسْعَوْا إِلَى ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَذَرُوا الْبَيْعَ. When the call to prayer is made on the day of Jum'ah, give up, shut your business down and go to the masjid. Jum'ah, Yawmul Jum'ah, the day of Jum'ah. This is the name that Allah has given in the Quran, Yawmul Jum'ah. They changed that name and they've given a new name. And the new name is Friday. In the English language, in Friday. In French is Vendredi. In Spanish, what is in Spanish? Anybody know Spanish? Huh? Viernes. Friday, check it out, is the day for the worship of Fry. F-R-E-I. Who is Fry? Is a Scandinavian goddess. The day for the worship of a Scandinavian goddess. The days of the week like that, the months of the year like that. January, February, March, all that stuff. So you are going to be attacked by two people. The Jews and another people whose agenda will be constantly shirk. And at that time when this manifests itself in the world, at that time, وَلَتَجِدَنَّ أَقْرَبَهُمْ مَوَدَّةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّا نَصَارَى. That at that time when the Jews become most hostile of all to you, I'm sorry to have to be repeating again and again, and when these people, this civilization of shirk is hostile to you, waging war on you, at that time you will find that those who will be closest in love and affection for you would be a people who say, we are Christians. Allah didn't stop there. He went on to tell us something more about the people. Which Christians are these? ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ مِنْهُمُ الْقِسِّيسِينَ وَرُهْبَانَ وَأَنَّهُمْ لَا يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ. This is because these Christians are a people who have monasticism, the monastery, the monk, the monastic way of life. And because they are not an arrogant people. They are not an arrogant people. They don't want to rule the world. They don't want to transform all of mankind into carbon copies of themselves. If I have a curry chicken and rice in front of me, curry chicken and rice, and I wash my hands, and I roll up my sleeve, and I start to eat my curry chicken and rice with the cutlery that Allah gave me, the fingers. These arrogant people will say that is an uncivilized way of eating. No, civilized people don't eat like that. And my response to them is, you can take your civilization and throw it in the Red Sea. I don't care a fig leaf. Sorry for raising my voice. I don't care a fig leaf for you and your views. It is arrogance on your part, that you want to transform me into a carbon copy of yourself. That I had to put on jacket and tie to be civilized, to be in respectable company, jacket and tie. In the Caribbean, in this heat, tropical climate, and you see the fella in suit and jacket and tie, you should send him. It's a madhouse. This is for my audience outside of Trinidad. So you have a people who have arrogance in them, that they want you to live the way they live. They want you to be transformed into carbon copies of themselves.